Hey guys, my name is Louise and I am a tradesman empowerment coach, and today I'm going to be talking about emotions attached to tasks. So this is something that has affected me for a while actually. Yeah, I started my apprenticeship when I was 15. I qualified when I was 19, and in the first year of my apprenticeship, I Okay, so going back to what I mean by emotions attached to tasks. So you're doing a task and you feel emotions that are from the past that aren't necessarily related to anything that's happening now. So for me, this looked like an event that had happened in my first year, and it actually went on into my third year, like drips and drabs of it. So it was a bit of sexual harassment, and I was doing this job. I think I was in my third year when this particular event happened to attach it to this particular task. So I was doing engine timing. So we worked on 15-litre engines, so it was quite big, overhead cam. There was a few extra adjustments that we had to do in that process of setting the timing for the ISXs. So it was quite a large, kind of tricky process, and I now know that it is actually one of the hardest engines to set timing on. It's what I learned on. So anyway, so I was setting this engine timing, and I was having a bit of trouble with it. So I had set it, and then it didn't come quite right, so I went to start again. And one of the other apprentices who was in the same year as me called me over to help him put up a drive shaft. So I was like, oh yeah, cool, it'll get my head out of this game, go over, put that drive shaft up. So what had happened is when I went to help him, he had said something quite hurtful to me. It was attached to a string of other things that he had said to me and that had happened, which I haven't really shared much about that, but yeah, so a string of things that had happened, but that particular incident he said something not too great, and yeah, so I ended up feeling a bit shitty, and then I went back and did my engine timing. I think I had another 2 or 3 goes at it before I actually got it right, and I was happy with it. What then ended up happening is that feeling for some reason was attached to that task. I just got, I didn't know it at the time. I just thought I was just super anxious about timing engines. I ended up having one just before I left Cummins, totally blowout of, time-wise, totally blowout. It was supposed to, roughly, once you give it a few cracks, if you have, 1 or 2 goes, that's pretty normal to have a few goes at it. Should be done within an hour or 2. I had one take me 8 hours just because I was just shaking and I just didn't feel secure in what I was doing at all. And this was probably a year and a half after that specific event. I then ended up changing workplaces, and I was really lucky to have a boss that supported me and could see that I was super anxious, and he just gave me the space to do that engine timing task and work through that, which I was really, really lucky, and I'm super grateful to have that support. But then I kind of realized that I hadn't really kind of worked all the way through that, because when I become a trainer assessor, I think about 8 months in, I was told I was going to be teaching engines, and I was like, oh, I can't teach people how to build engines. I don't really know how to build engines. And my manager was like, you're an engine builder for 4.5 years, and then you went and built engines off the top of your head, in the middle of paddocks and shit. He's like, you know how to build engines. And I was like, oh, why don't I think I know how to build engines? And yeah, I was in a place where I could sit with that and really think about it. And I did draw it back to that event when I was in the middle of engine timing, and that other apprentice had called me over and said something quite hurtful to me. At the time, when that event happened, I was at the point where I was just laughing everything that was sexist off and anything that made me feel uncomfortable, because I wasn't in a position where I had the words to come back to that kind of thing. So it was kind of just haha, cool, yeah, I'm hurt and dying on the inside, but I didn't tell anyone. To then come through that and now be able to teach people how to do that task, it was a big process for me, and to work through that emotion, there's still, I'll be totally honest, there's still a little bit of that emotion left. It does come up a little bit, but what I had to do was bring up that event, bring it to the front of my mind and allow myself to feel those feelings. Because at the time I was like, I got shit to do. I can't be upset. So I just pushed that deep down inside me. And then it come popping out whenever I did that task, which was super annoying. Another event that the emotions come up for me that aren't related to tasks is my last boss that I had while I was on the tools. So the boss that had given me the space to kind of work through and give me the time I needed to do things, he passed at the beginning of the year. So now kind of whenever I see a task or something that he told me how to do, I feel a sense of sadness. But for me in that process, it's a very, very different situation to the harassment and having that connected to that negative feeling. But with the sadness, because he's no longer with us, instead of just being really upset about that, I turn that into a thanks for teaching me. I'm so grateful that he taught me that. And I just say, you know, a little thank you, instead of like, I feel like it's sad he's not here. It's a totally valid feeling. So it's sad that he's not here, but I'm like, thanks for teaching me that. So I do have a few other different examples for me personally of when feelings have been attached to tasks. And it is, like, to be honest, if anything, it's just really annoying. Like, especially when I was in that process of like trying to better myself, and then I would be like going good, and then I get that engine timing job and I just fall to pieces. I was like, I don't know what's happening to me. Yeah, so if you're in a position where you think that you're doing a task and you get a sense of overwhelm, a sense of anger, a sense of sadness, a sense of just being distracted and super scattered, which is what mainly come up for me. I just was just nowhere. The first thing is just to recognize that, to really be like, oh, I'm feeling this way. So that was a big thing to do first off. And then allow yourself to feel that feeling. For me, I hadn't allowed myself to feel upset and angry and annoyed at that situation. I had just pushed it down. So I had to bring that up, I had to feel it. And it did take a while because that, like I said, that particular event was attached to a few years of stuff. But yeah, so that was a big process for me to bring it up and then feel it. And I talked through it with friends a few times, more than a few times. And in that process, I was angry at myself for putting myself in the position to be harassed. So in that instance, I had to forgive myself. And then once I forgave myself, then I was angry at him. So then I was like, he's out of my life now. I just forgive and forget. He's gone. So yeah, that was my main situation where I was feeling like that. So yeah, I had to bring those feelings up, feel them, and then work through them. So for me, it was forgiving myself and then letting go of the anger at him for doing that. And then in the situation of my last boss passing, my last mechanical boss passing, I changed the sadness to a thank you for teaching me. It can be a bit difficult, and it is something that I didn't even realize it was a thing. It was just something that I was just like, I'm just shit at this job. But going back and working through it, it really made a big difference to me and the way that I see different situations now. I know a lot of us push the feelings deep down inside. And sometimes you do that. Sometimes you don't realize you're doing that. But if you look back and if you're having these random outbursts of feelings that are unaccounted for, just sit with them. Notice them. And then at a time when you feel like you're ready, go back and look into them. If you are at a position where you want help looking back into things like this, situations that are attached to emotions that are just bursting out of you, I would love to help you, and I can help you work through these. I've worked through them. I've got some tips and tricks that I wish I had known, and I really want you to know on this journey on working through this. So that is it for me. today. Thank you for joining me on this live. For those of you who are watching it live, and guys, please comment down below if you have had any situations or instances where you think this might be happening to you. It can be anything random, and I would love to chat to you in the DMs as well if you want to share something. Alright, please have a good day. If you guys are in lockdown, please take it easy on yourself. I'm definitely riding the lockdown roller coaster of emotions, doing what I can, being kind to myself, and I'm here, I'm lucky, I'm still working. And please guys, if it's a celebration to get out of bed and brush your teeth, then good on you. Okay guys, keep on smashing it. I will talk to you in the next